Tonight, you are going to do something so simple yet so powerful that it may shift the way your reality unfolds. A piece of paper, a pen, and 3 numbers. 7, 7, 7. You may wonder, how could something this small, this ordinary, possibly matter? But listen carefully, because nothing in this universe is random. Numbers are not just numbers. They are symbols. They are keys, they are vibrations, carrying frequencies that whisper to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious is the hidden workshop of creation. Neville Goddard taught that what you imagine, what you assume in the silence of your inner world, must harden into fact. He insisted that your imagination is not a daydream, it is not fantasy. It is the true reality waiting to be born. So why 777? Because 777 is the seal of completion, the signature of spiritual perfection, the number that represents alignment with divine order. When you write it down, slowly, deliberately, you are not just scribbling ink on paper, you are impressing a symbol onto your mind. You are instructing your subconscious. It is done. It is complete. I accept it as real. And here is the mystery. You don't need to fight. You don't need to chase. You don't need to beg the universe. All you need to do is assume the state and let the unseen arrange the pieces of your life. Imagine tonight, placing that slip of paper beneath your pillow, closing your eyes and drifting into sleep, knowing that the number beneath you is not just a number, it is a command, a code, a declaration that something new is already unfolding. This is not superstition. This is not chance. This is the art of assumption, clothed in symbol. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you will understand exactly why this works. How Neville Goddard's teachings breathe life into this simple ritual. And why tonight, if you dare to try it, you may never see your world the same way again. And before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe right now, because what you're about to learn could change the way you approach every desire, every goal, every dream. Don't miss the next revelations waiting for you. Now, let us begin. The mystery of 777. You have seen it before. On a clock, on a receipt, on a license plate, the number 777 appears, and for a moment, you pause. You wonder if it means something. You wonder if it's just coincidence, or if the universe is trying to whisper to you. But deep down, you already know. Nothing is random. Nothing is meaningless. The ancients believed that numbers carry frequency, that every number is a vibration, a pattern, a doorway into hidden truths. And 777 has always stood apart, mysterious, luminous, carrying an energy that feels different. Why does it call to you? Because it is the number of spiritual completion. It is the echo of perfection. It is the sign that you are aligned, that the invisible is already moving on your behalf. When you see 777, something inside you stirs. It feels like a wink from the universe, a message that says, you are on the right path. Keep going. Neville Goddard taught that signs are not external events dropped randomly into your life. Signs are reflections. They mirror the state you are in. They show you where your consciousness rests. So when 777 appears before your eyes, it is not the universe telling you what to do. It is your own consciousness reflecting back its power, showing you what you have already assumed as true. This is why the ritual of writing 777 on paper is more than a trick. It is a conscious act of alignment, a moment where you declare, I am already complete. My desire is already fulfilled. Think of 777 as a sacred seal. Each digit is like a step upward. 7 is the number of spiritual awakening, the cycle of rest and creation. But when it repeats, when it multiplies, it becomes undeniable. It becomes an anthem of certainty. And here is where the mystery deepens. The more you focus on this number, the more you invite your subconscious to believe in the state it represents. And your subconscious, faithful and unquestioning, accepts it. It begins to weave circumstances, connections, and events until your outer world must reflect the inner truth you impressed upon it. So ask yourself, what would happen if tonight you didn't just notice 777, but you chose it? What if instead of waiting for signs to appear randomly, you created your own? By writing it down, you are not waiting. You are not hoping. You are declaring. You are becoming the cause, not the effect. This is the true mystery of 777. It is not luck, it is not chance, it is alignment. It is a reminder that you are the one who gives meaning, and when you dare to write it, you tell your subconscious, it is already done. Neville Goddard and the Key of Imagination. Neville Goddard did not teach wishful thinking. He did not ask you to hope. He asked you to imagine and to believe that what you imagine is real. To Neville, imagination was not a game. It was the very fabric of reality. He said, imagination creates reality. Not sometimes, not if you are lucky, not if the universe chooses you, always. And here is the key. You are imagining every moment of your life. You imagine when you worry. You imagine when you replay old fears. You imagine when you daydream of something better, and your world faithfully takes the shape of what you imagine most intensely. Now, think about this. If your imagination is constantly creating, then the question is not if it works, but how you are using it. Are you imagining what you want or what you fear? Are you living in the assumption of fulfillment or in the assumption of lack? Neville taught that everything begins with a state of consciousness. When you assume the state of being the person you desire to be, your outer world must rearrange itself to reflect that inner decision. It cannot resist. It cannot delay. It must obey. This is why rituals like writing 777 are so powerful. Not because of the paper, not because of the pen, not even because of the number itself, but because of the state it allows you to assume. When you take that piece of paper tonight, when you slowly write those 3 sevens, you are choosing to step into a new state. You are impressing upon your imagination the feeling of completion, the vibration of certainty. And once your subconscious accepts it, it begins its quiet work. It arranges circumstances you cannot predict. It opens doors you could not plan. It moves people and events like pieces on a chessboard until the invisible becomes visible. You see, imagination is not fantasy. It is causation. And when you align your imagination with faith, with persistence, with symbols like 777, you turn a fleeting thought into a living reality. So let me ask you, how are you using your imagination right now? Are you imagining yourself listening passively, or are you imagining yourself as the one who already holds the outcome you desire? Because the moment you choose the second, everything changes. And if you are ready to step deeper into this journey with Neville's teachings, make sure you subscribe right now. Because what you are about to learn is not just theory, it is a doorway. And once you walk through, there is no turning back. 777, the number of spiritual perfection. You have always felt that numbers carry meaning. Not just cold, empty figures, but signs, symbols, echoes of something greater. 7 has always stood apart. 7 days of creation, 7 colors in the spectrum of light, 7 notes in the scale that produces music. 7 is the number of cycles, of completion, of rest after creation. But what happens when 7 is not just once, but 3 times in a row? 7, 7, 7. The vibration multiplies, the meaning deepens. It becomes more than completion. It becomes perfection. It becomes the symbol of divine alignment, of total harmony between the seen and the unseen. When you encounter 777, it feels different. You sense a calm certainty, as if the universe is whispering, it is already done. You are already aligned. Neville Goddard would remind you that numbers do not create. You create. But symbols like 777 help you to feel what you already desire is real. They help your imagination lock onto a state with clarity and conviction. Think of 777 as a sacred mirror. When you look at it, you are not simply seeing digits. You are seeing your own power reflected back at you. You are seeing the invisible telling you, stay in the state, remain in faith, do not waver. There is a reason you feel drawn to it, because 777 is a reminder of who you truly are, not a beggar before life, but the source of life itself. Not someone hoping for luck, but someone creating reality through the unseen power of assumption. When you write 777 on paper, you are not calling luck. You are affirming perfection. You are impressing upon your subconscious that everything is already aligned, already unfolding, already complete. And your subconscious, faithful and obedient, accepts it. It does not question. It does not resist. It simply reflects back into your world what you impressed upon it. This is why so many who experiment with symbols like 777 experience synchronicities, sudden shifts, unexpected doors opening. Because they are no longer waiting for signs, they are becoming the sign. So tonight, when you write those 3 sevens, pause for a moment. Feel the weight of them, not as numbers, not as superstition, but as a declaration. I am aligned. I am complete. My desire is already fulfilled. That is the true perfection of 777. It is not luck, it is law. The power of sleep and the subconscious doorway. There is a moment each night that you often overlook. The quiet space between wakefulness and sleep. It is a passage, a threshold, a doorway into the deepest part of your being. Neville Goddard called this state the bridge of incident, the sacred passage into the subconscious mind. He insisted that what you carry into sleep must take root. It does not vanish, it does not dissolve, it sinks. And once it sinks, it grows. Think about your own nights. How often have you fallen asleep with worry in your chest, with fear in your mind? And then, as days unfold, you notice those fears reflected in the world around you. This is not an accident. It is the law. Sleep is the moment your conscious guard lowers, the moment your rational mind steps aside, and in that openness, your subconscious accepts whatever you feed it, without question, without hesitation. This is why Neville urged you to fall asleep in the assumption of your wish fulfilled, because in that delicate state, the line between imagination and reality vanishes. Your subconscious does not know the difference. It only knows what you impress upon it. Now imagine what happens when, before you close your eyes, you take a small piece of paper, you write 777, you place it near you, and you let yourself drift into sleep, not as someone waiting, but as someone who already has. In that moment, the number is not just ink. It is a code, a symbol, a trigger that tells your subconscious, I am complete. I am aligned, it is finished, and your subconscious obeys. It begins to rearrange your world in silence. People shift, events turn, circumstances bend, all to reflect what you carried into sleep. Do you see the power here? Most people carry their fears into sleep. They rehearse arguments, they replay failures, and so their subconscious continues to build more of the same. But tonight you will choose differently. You will not carry fear. You will not carry lack. You will carry 777. You will carry completion. You will carry the feeling of fulfillment. And when you wake, the world will begin to mirror it back. So as you prepare for tonight, remember, the moment before sleep is not ordinary. It is sacred. It is creation itself. And when you place the symbol of 777 into that space, you are not hoping. You are commanding, and that command must become flesh. The ritual of paper, how to perform the 777 method. Now you're ready to learn the ritual. It is simple, almost too simple. But remember this, the greatest truths are always clothed in simplicity. You need nothing more than a piece of paper, a pen, and the willingness to believe. Begin by choosing your space. It does not need to be a temple, a sanctuary, or anything extraordinary, but it must feel intentional, quiet, a place where you can pause, breathe, and turn inward. Sit down with your paper, hold the pen in your hand, feel the weight of what you are about to do, because in this moment you are not just writing, you are declaring. You are impressing a truth upon the deepest layer of your being. Slowly write the number 777. Do not rush. Let each digit flow as if you are engraving it into your subconscious. See it not as ink, but as energy leaving your hand and entering the unseen. When you finish, pause. Look at the paper. Let your eyes rest on those numbers. And now, let the meaning rise within you. This is done. This is complete. My world is already shifting to reflect my assumption. If you wish, whisper the words, "It is finished," because that is what the number means. That is what you are affirming. Now place the paper near your bed. Some choose to put it beneath their pillow. Others place it on a nightstand. What matters is that it remains close as you fall asleep, so that its vibration, its meaning, its certainty rests with you through the night. Close your eyes. And here is the secret. Do not beg, do not plead, do not wait in tension. Assume. Feel yourself already in possession of your desire. Let gratitude rise, not for what is coming, but for what already exists in the unseen. And as you drift into sleep, carry that feeling. Carry the sense of alignment. Carry the certainty that the paper beneath you is not just paper, it is a bridge, a signal, a symbol that your subconscious has already received the command. You will notice something remarkable. The act is small, yet within days, sometimes within hours, you will see reflections, signs, alignments, doors opening. Because the ritual is not magic in itself, it is you, impressing upon yourself the state of completion. Remember this truth. The universe does not respond to your words, but to your state. And tonight, the ritual of 777 helps you step into that state with clarity and power. Now, pause, take this in, and if you are ready to try it tonight, write in the comments. 777. Let this space be filled with your declaration, and let thousands of others who are watching join you in this alignment, because when you declare it together, the energy magnifies. The state of consciousness, living as if it is already done. Neville Goddard always returned to one truth. It is not the ritual itself that creates, it is the state you occupy. You can write 777 on 1,000 pieces of paper. You can repeat it every night. But if inside you still feel lack, if you still wait and wonder, then nothing changes. Why? Because creation does not come from waiting, it comes from assumption. You must enter the state of already being, already having, already living in the end. This is what Neville called living in the wish fulfilled. Not hoping, not asking, not looking to the future, but standing firmly in the present, knowing it is done. Close your eyes now and imagine, not as if it might happen someday, but as if it already has. Feel the desire complete. Hear the sounds of success. See the faces of those congratulating you. Feel the relief, the gratitude, the joy of knowing you are no longer waiting. You are already there. This is the secret most miss. They perform rituals, but inside they keep waiting. They keep watching the clock. They keep asking, when will it come? And that question itself keeps them in the state of not yet. But you must choose differently. The moment you write 777, you are not waiting for proof. You are declaring proof. The number is not a hope. It is a seal, a reminder to stay in the state of fulfillment. And here is the mystery. Once you occupy that state, your outer world cannot resist. It must bend. It must conform. It must mirror what you have assumed. Neville compared it to planting a seed. When you plant, you do not dig it up every hour to see if it is growing. You rest. You trust. You know the harvest is already guaranteed. So it is with your assumption. Live now as if it were already true. Walk, speak, breathe with the quiet confidence of someone who knows the unseen is more real than the seen. And as you do, watch what happens. The phone call arrives. The opportunity appears. The shift occurs, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically. But it always arrives, because your world has no choice but to reflect the state you sustain. So let 777 remind you of this. Do not wait, do not beg, assume. Enter the state, live as if it is already complete, because in truth, it already is. Stories and testimonies of transformation. You may wonder, does this really work? Can a simple act, a symbol, a number, truly shift reality? Let me share with you what happens when ordinary people dare to believe. A woman once heard Neville Goddard speak of living in the end. She decided to test it. She was burdened with financial struggle, always counting coins, always fearing tomorrow. But one night, instead of falling asleep in worry, she chose to enter a new state. She imagined opening her wallet and seeing it full. She imagined paying bills with ease. She imagined herself free. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities arose. Money came from places she had never considered. The old state of lack dissolved, replaced by abundance she once thought impossible. Another man carried a heavy longing for love. He was convinced it would never come. But then he chose to shift. He took a simple card, wrote the number 777 upon it, and placed it beneath his pillow. Each night, as he drifted into sleep, he imagined himself already in a loving relationship. He felt the warmth of a hand in his own. He heard the laughter, the companionship, the joy. Months later, without forcing, without chasing, he met someone who reflected the state he had sustained. What began as imagination became his daily life. And perhaps you have felt it too. Moments where you dared to believe, only to watch the impossible arrange itself before your eyes. That was no accident, that was no coincidence, that was law. You see, 777 is not a charm, it is a mirror. It reminds you that what you impress upon your subconscious will return to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over. Every story, every testimony carries the same pattern. Someone stopped waiting, someone stopped begging, someone stopped doubting. Instead, they assumed. They lived as if it were done. They carried that state into sleep, and the outer world shifted in ways that logic could not explain. So tonight, as you prepare your paper, as you write those 3 sacred digits, remember these stories. Let them anchor your faith. Let them remind you that you are not alone in this journey. Thousands before you have tested, and thousands have seen the law in action. And now it is your turn. If these stories stir something within you, pause for a moment. Hit the subscribe button right now so you do not miss the next chapter of this journey. Because the teachings you are receiving are not entertainment, they are invitations. Invitations into a life you once thought was only a dream. And your dream is waiting. The call to now. Tonight is the night. There comes a moment when you must stop listening and start doing. That moment is now. All the teachings you have heard, all the truths whispered by Neville Goddard, all the symbols, all the stories, they are pointing you to this. Tonight is the night to act. You have waited long enough. You have doubted long enough. You have carried the weight of someday for too long. Tonight you pick up the pen. Tonight you take the paper. Tonight you write the code, 777. And as you do, you declare to your subconscious, to your world, to yourself, it is done. I no longer wait. I no longer beg. I live in the end. Do not underestimate the power of this moment, because hesitation is the only enemy. The subconscious does not respond to hesitation. It responds to clarity. It responds to certainty. It responds to faith that refuses to be shaken. So I ask you now, will you dare to test it? Will you lay aside the habit of hoping and step boldly into the act of assumption? See yourself tonight, lying in bed, the paper close, the numbers glowing in your mind's eye. Hear the quiet voice within whisper, "It is finished." Feel the gratitude rising, not for what is coming, but for what already is. And then, let go. Drift into sleep, not as someone waiting, but as someone complete. Let the state carry you. Let the number remind you. Let the unseen begin its quiet work. Because tomorrow will not be the same. Something will shift. Perhaps subtly, perhaps dramatically. But once you impress the state of completion, the outer world must bend to reflect it. It cannot resist. It cannot delay. This is not about luck. This is not about chance. This is about law. And tonight you have the opportunity to test it for yourself. So do not delay. Take the paper, take the pen, write 777, place it near you, fall asleep in the state of the wish fulfilled, and then watch what happens. And if you are ready, if you feel the pull within you to step fully into this journey, make your declaration now. Leave a comment with 777. Let this moment be marked. Let this be the night you cross the line between hoping and knowing, because tonight is the night. Now pause, take a breath. Let the silence sink in around you. You have heard the mystery of 777. You have felt the power of imagination as Neville Goddard revealed it. You have understood the sacred doorway of sleep, the ritual of paper, the state of assumption. And now, the choice rests with you. It has never been about the paper alone. It has never been about the number itself. It has always been about you, about what you dare to believe, about the state you choose to occupy, about the command you give to your subconscious mind. Neville taught one truth over and over. You are the operant power, not luck, not chance, not fate, you. And tonight, you hold the pen, you hold the power to declare alignment. You hold the choice to live in the end, to rest in the certainty that what you desire is already complete. So as you prepare to act, let gratitude rise within you. Not gratitude for what is coming, but gratitude for what already is. Gratitude because in the unseen, in the invisible, it is finished. This is how transformation begins, not with struggle, not with striving, but with assumption. With the quiet, steady knowing that imagination is reality in its seed form, waiting to bloom in your world. And tomorrow when you wake, watch closely, listen carefully, because the reflections will begin to appear, some small, some undeniable. But each one is proof that your world is shifting to mirror your inner state. Do not dismiss them. Do not call them coincidences. Recognize them as confirmations. Smile at them and continue to dwell in the state of fulfillment. And as you do, remember, this is only the beginning. The 777 method is a doorway, but there are deeper truths still to uncover. There are states even more profound. There are secrets in Neville's teachings that take you beyond numbers, beyond rituals, into the very heart of creation itself. So stay with this journey. Subscribe now if you have not already, because the next teaching will reveal how to move beyond symbols into the pure essence of imagination. A teaching that will show you not only how to manifest desires, but how to transform your very identity. For tonight, take the paper, write the number, rest in the state, and know it is already done. Because you are not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle.